What if I asked you a simple but uncomfortable question? Who do you become in this marriage, and at what cost? It did not happen in one day. No big fight, no dramatic moment, just small adjustments, small compromises, small silence, until one day you pause and realized I missed who I used to be. Welcome to Union Chronicles Podcast, where we have honest, necessary conversations about love, marriage, and the reality we don't always say out loud. Today we are talking about something many people feel but struggle to explain: identity in marriage, and how losing yourself in love does not always look like pain. Sometimes it looks like peace. Most people think identity crisis in marriage comes from chaos, argument, disrespect, betrayal. But what if I told you some of the deepest emotional identity shifts happen in calm relationships? No shouting, no visible problems, just adaptation. You adjust your tone, you adjust your preferences, you adjust your reaction, not because you are forced to, but because you wanted the relationship to work. And slowly, without realizing it, you start becoming a version of yourself that feels easier to love but harder to recognize. That is how losing yourself in love begins. Not loudly, but quietly. Let's make this real. At the beginning, you were expressive. You spoke your mind. You laughed loudly. You had strong opinions. Then love came and you started adjusting. Let me not talk too much. They don't like it. Let me not react. I don't want issue. Let me just go with what they prefer. And it feels harmless, even matured. But here is it. Every time you consistently choose fitting in over showing up, you move a step away from yourself. It is not always pressure from your partner. Sometimes it is the fear of losing the relationship that makes you reshape yourself. And before you know it, you are no longer asking, what do I want? You are asking, what will keep this relationship stable? That is how relationship self-awareness starts to fade. Growth is healthy. Marriage requires adjustment. Compromise is necessary. But here is the question. At what point does growth become self-erasing? Growth says, I am evolving. I still recognize myself. But when you erase yourself, it says, I am changing. I don't feel like me anymore. You stop doing things you love. You silence part of your personality. You shrink your needs to avoid being too much. And you tell yourself, this is marriage. This is maturity. This is love. But deep down, you feel a quiet disconnection from yourself. This is where emotional identity shift becomes dangerous because it hides under the name of doing the right thing. Love is powerful. It does not just affect your emotions. It can reshape how you think, speak, and even see yourself. About your voice. You start filtering your words. You hesitate before expressing yourself. You choose silence over honesty. Your choice. You stop choosing based on your desires and start choosing based on what will avoid tension. Your confidence. You begin to second guess yourself. You begin unsure of your opinions. You rely more on your partner's validation than your own clarity. And most painful part, you may not even notice it immediately because it feels like love. It feels like commitment. It feels like this is what relationships require. But slowly, you become less of yourself and more of what the relationship demands. Now, here is where it gets really deep. Marriage is about unity, yes, but unity was never meant to cost you your identity. The danger is not change, the danger is unconscious change. When you're no longer aware what you truly feel, what you truly need, what you truly are, because you have been so focused on we that you have completely lost me. And here is the honest truth many people don't say. You cannot build a healthy we when one person is slowly disappearing. Because one day, that suppressed version of you will feel unseen, feel unheld, feel disconnected. And that is when confusion, resentment, or emotional distance begin. Take this. Not every change in love is growth. Some changes are quiet disappearance. So let me ask you again, who are you becoming in your marriage right now? And more importantly, do you recognize yourself? Because love should not make you feel like a stranger in your own life. In the next episode, we go even deeper, keeping the peace, losing yourself, the hidden cost of silence. We'll talk about how avoiding conflict can slowly turn into emotional suppression and why peace in marriage should never come at the cost of your voice. If this resonated with you, share it, reflect on it, and most importantly, start paying attention to yourself again. Thank you. Yours, Disa Therapist.